your time. Okay. I'm just gonna say. All right.
We now are live.
We're live, okay. Good morning, everybody. This is the Senate Education Committee, and we are today visiting the White River Valley Supervisory Union, and we're physically today at the high school in Royalton. I'll have the committee members introduce themselves in a minute. This is the fifth of five districts that we're visiting. Our stops were meetings we're holding around the state. We started in Canaan. I don't know how long ago was that, 6 weeks ago? Something like that. And we have subsequently one of the smallest high schools in Vermont up in Canaan. And we have subsequently spent time visiting the Rutland High School and the Rutland District. We actually want to think about it as districts, not just the high schools. Woodstock, CBU, and now our fifth one here in Royalton. And all of them have had a slightly different focus, although the overarching focus that we're trying to step back and focus on a little bit is how we provide excellent educational opportunity for every Vermont student across Vermont. And as we've been doing that, we've purposely chosen different kinds of settings. Small school, large school. If you think about it, the obvious bookend for Canaan is CBU, and we were there as well. And then a couple of districts in between with different opportunities and different challenges. And so we're really we tried during a session last year to get out and visit some schools and gave up because it's impossible to get out of the building. Because we all have morning committees, which we're all pretty deeply connected. And so it's just hard to get away. So it didn't happen. So we're using the time that we have now before the session starts, just to go out and hear. And we love the student panels. We've got a student panel at every visit, teachers panels, principals panels, and it's really it gives us the kind of contact, and we hear things that we don't get to hear during the session when we tend to hear only from. We don't hear from teachers and students as much during the session. So it's a real opportunity for us to do that. So in a minute, I'll have the committee introduce themselves, but just want to say how much we look forward to hearing from you and how grateful we are that you've taken the time to do this with us. So we'll start over here on my left.
Steve Heffernan from Madison County District.
Keisha Ron Hinsdale, Chittenden County, and the good news is I think they're the only school that's getting all six of them.
Yeah. And I didn't introduce myself, actually. Seth Longarts, I represent the Bennington Senate District.
Good morning, Dave Weeks, representing Rutland County.
Terry Williams, also representing Rutland County.
Nader Hashim from Wyndham County.
So I think we're going to start with you guys talking a little bit first, then maybe some questions from us.
Yeah.
So you've got the floor.
So thank you guys all for coming. Good morning. We're going to introduce ourselves. I'm Jacob. I'm a senior here. I'm from this high school and went to this elementary.
So you're from Royalton?
I'm from Royalton.
Okay.
I'm Caitlin. I'm from Florida, but I live in Humber.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Liberty Bowman. I am a 10th grader here, and I live in 6th grade. Hi, I'm Reagan Valentine. I am a 10th grader as well. I go to White River Valley High School, and that's grown up here.
Hi, I'm Tommy Amber. I live in Chelsea and I go to Thetford Catholic.
I'm Jaden Perry. I am a senior at Sharon Academy, and
Sorry, I'm Aubrey McKenzie. I'm a senior here, and I've lived in Soro my whole life. Went to the elementary as well with Jacob, and I think I'm going to lead us into some of our big topics of discussion. So one of the first things that I think would be really good to talk about, which you kind of already mentioned, is looking at what opportunities we're giving kids, and if it would be expanded if we did consolidate into this kind of, I don't know if we're calling it like mega school, but for putting them all into like a school with say 800 kids versus if we keep it how we have it. And I think for me personally, I walked into high school just wanting to take every opportunity that I could. So just to ramble off a few things that I've done. I've done basketball, softball, track, God, what else? Soccer, theater, done all the drama productions that I've been able to while I was here. I've
Sorry to
been,
interrupt. Can you just remind us, as opposed to an 800 student school, how many students are here? I just didn't walk in having that.
225, right? 225 in the high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been the class president as well for the past few years, and that's, I don't know, it's not to like brag, but to say like we have a lot of opportunities if you're willing to take them. So we had like I think 30 girls in our softball program last year, varsity and JV combined. And so at least the worry for me would be that if we did go into school where there's 800 or so kids, you're going to be picking and choosing the best of the best for your sports teams. You're not going to be letting everyone join. And I think that would be the worry that like you're going to take these opportunities away from kids before, you know, I'm going to go to college next year. I'm probably going to have to give up a lot of what I've been able to do in high school because I either don't have the talent to do it at a college level or I just wouldn't have the time. Would anyone like to touch on the topic of
Yeah, to add on to that, so at Thetford, we have about 300 kids. And one thing that's great about that is we had 34 boys try out for basketball this year. But Thetford doesn't do cuts, so every single kid has gotten the opportunity to play in some way, shape, or form. We made 2 JV teams so that we could have more playing time for kids.
Mm-hmm.
And in theater, which I'm also a part of, if you join the class, you're in the play automatically. There's no cuts or anything, which is just really great in providing everybody an opportunity rather than just the best.
And then also a bit kind of segueing from opportunities into transportation. If a kid lives like an hour and a half away from this new school that they're going to, there's a lot of questions that would come into play, but it would make it very hard for them to get transportation for whatever after school activity they're doing. I've actually Peyton and Liv, I think. I want to defer to talk about transportation for you guys.
Yeah, since I live in Pittsfield, that's like 30-40 minutes away from here. And so I have to get here every morning because buses don't come my way. And there was one day, maybe last week, where it was snowing and sports were canceled. So it took me like an hour and 20 minutes to get home just because the weather was a little worse. So if the school was bigger and it was farther away from me, it would take me a long, long time just to get to school in the morning. Nevertheless, sports, I would get home at like maybe 11 o'clock at night.
How do you get to school now?
My parents have to drive me because there's no buses that come anywhere near my.
So I live in Thomas. I only live 10 minutes away, but every morning and afternoon I work, and transportation is already like bad for me. And my schedule is like really oriented on like relying on everything goes to plan. So like sports, like what she said, being canceled last week. They canceled it after the buses left, so I had to be here until sports would have ended. And it's just, it would be really difficult, say we go like an hour away, like we have to drive an hour away, say like, not even just sports, say you get sick and stuff and your parents have to pick you up. My father works like out of state in Maine and stuff. I would have to be at school until it ends basically. And I would have to stay for sports because it's like, it's something where you can't just last minute change.
Could you just explain to the committee what it is you do in the morning and the evening?
So every morning before school, I work. I work on a farm. I usually, on the weekends, I have track meets, so I'll work, do my morning chores, finish at like 3 a.m. sometimes, and then I'll go to sleep, and then I'll work before school again. And then afternoons, after I finish practice, I go and I work again by babysitting for like neighbors or like family friends. I also help them with chores because some of them are elderly. So just going to school really far away, I would not have the opportunity to do that anymore. I wouldn't be able to make money because I'd be so far away. Transportation, it would take me forever to get home.
Who had the track meet story?
I do.
Remember about the going to, was it up at UVM? What time did you?
Oh,
Yeah, tell
so our track meets are at UVM. We had to be there at 5:40 a.m. So say we go to school an hour away, the opposite direction, we would have to be so much earlier and tractors wouldn't be like, we would have to leave like 4 in the morning. That'd be crazy.
Can you all talk about academic and career education opportunities and how that's going for you? Like AP classes, CTE?
I'm currently in 3 AP classes, and my average AP class size ranges from 3 students to 9, I believe it is. For college opportunities, we have an early college program here where we go with like Norwich or CTV, and then we also have class opportunities when you're a junior at Dartmouth. But our AP offerings we have several AP offerings compared to other schools around the country. I'm actually quite proud of the number we offer, but it is still limited. And within those classes, there's very few students who actually stay in the classes. I'm in an AP calculus class with 3 students. It was 4, but 1 dropped. And then there's a class behind it that feeds into a pre-calculus, and there were 3 students in that, 2 of them dropped, so it's a 1-student class now. We have the population to have the classes, just hard to find teachers for it. And
would you find it hard if you had to do it via like Zoom in a larger classroom? Do you think you could do calculus that way?
Calculus, definitely not. I think another class like a history and English class could be possible, but calculus, definitely not. I've had several experiences with virtual classes, and they're quite difficult. You can take the class easily. It's great. You can take it whenever you want. Just it's very hard to retain the information from those classes. So having the ability to get to know your teacher personally, or just being able to call them for help it is so important for these higher classes, especially in high school.
Yeah. Going off of, you said career. So I want to be a PE teacher for my career. And one of the great things is my advisors actually Stepford Academy's PE teacher, and we have this connection. So I've been able to actually help out with middle school classes because it's like a smaller school. I've been able to like have that connection.
It's really great. You know what you want to be a PE teacher. Do you want to stay in Vermont and do that? Or?
Yeah, I would like to. Yeah.
So I work here at the school after hours at the One Planet. So I work with ages kindergarten through 6th grade. And
Is that the after school program?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have learned a lot about my kids and have grown connections with them on a personal level, which would be harder to do if I worked at a One Planet with a bigger group of kids. Because on a good day we have about 45. And I've got connections with all of them. So a bigger group for One Planet would be harder to make those connections with it. And because we have a cutoff, I think it's 50. So that cutoff, so many more kids wouldn't get that opportunity after school, which would parents transportation to come get their kids harder if they live where buses don't go. But so it just is helpful for.
So the kids you have in that program are from K through 5, K through 6?
Yeah.
And is it for like an hour or an hour and a half?
It's from 3 to 5:30.
Okay. So you're here the whole time?
Yep.
That's the long day for you. Okay. And then the buses take those kids home?
No, their parents will come and pick them up after work.
Okay.
So on the opportunities topic, I have an interest in doing military, and last year, so my freshman year, I talked to our guidance counselor about what could I do and stuff just for future years, and they helped me, they showed me opportunities I had, there's not boot camp, but like you could go and like there's like actual military workouts and you could be there. So I think on the opportunity thing, even small schools, you'll have that opportunity. You just have to ask for it and they'll accommodate you. There's so much stuff I want to do and everything. If I want to do it, all I have to do is ask and they'll do their best. I think in a bigger school though, like we'll obviously have like 800 kids. That's going to be harder because there's so many kids you'll have to accommodate. It's going to take a while. And I feel like in general, they want to stick to like, oh, we offer this stuff. Can you do this? Or like figure it out on your own. Because my big schools in Florida, that's how it was.
Yeah, so I just wanted to thank you guys first for coming out. It's valuable for us to get insight directly from the students. The perspective is very unique, and obviously a lot of us have been outside of high schools for a long time. So my question for you guys is, because I don't understand the dynamic here, you have White River Valley High School, you have Thetford Academy. What's the dynamics between the two? And Sharon Academy. What are the dynamics? Do you have choice? Do your parents have choice on what school you go to? And how do the schools, how are they different? How are they alike? If anybody wants to kind of manage that question. But I just don't know.
At Sharon, we aren't in the same division of like sports as, wait, you guys are, we're in Division 4, so, we don't really like, I know Tommy kind of a little bit, cause, I don't know, just cause, I don't know.
Where you guys, you were
Yeah.
from Tunbridge, and Tom, you're from Chelsea.
But I don't know like anyone here, unless they went to Tunbridge with me. But also, I think track, I don't do track, but I know a lot of people who do track at Sharon, and I think they do like track this year and stuff. But also in Tunbridge, we don't have a high school in Tunbridge. It's just a kind it's like it's first branch now. It's combined with Tunbridge and Chelsea, so it's just one.
At what grade you get choice?
That's our so like once we go to 8th grade, we just kind of pick wherever we want to go.
Between the three high schools?
Between really any high school at all in Vermont, I think.
Okay.
Pretty much. Like I could have gone, my dad was in Derry, I could have gone to Spalding, which I did not want to do. But yeah,
Do you know how many students are in Sharon High School?
120.
Yeah.
So what are the personalities between the schools? White River Union, or White River Valley, Thetford, Sharon? Can you help us out a little bit to understand, like, it's one academically oriented, it's another academically oriented but different? Just to get a sense of
Why did you choose the school you chose?
So to answer kind of like both those questions, I had choice because I live in Tunbridge. This school, I feel like it's a mix of both academic and athletic. A large portion of our school is really athletic, but those people who like don't say do sports and stuff, they're really smart. They focus on academics, and I think all of them really have a good future, even all the sports people. And the reason I chose the school is really because of that. It's close. It's like good community compared to like other schools I shadowed. When I shadowed here, it felt so comfortable. I'm actually friends with the person I shadow now. Other schools I shadowed were very like, not to say cold and like rude, but they just didn't really connect with students as much as like the White River Valley and Sharon and like Thetford was. And
Do you want to explain where your siblings went to school?
oh, so my oldest sister who's in college now, she went to Sharon, and my middle sister, she still goes here. She's a junior. So though my sister did go here, it did play into a fact, but I couldn't really go into either school. But this school really just has like, it has such a good community. It has good sports, good athletics, and really gives so much opportunity to all the students that attend.
And would you benefit to be bused to any of the other schools, or would your parents have or other transportation out of school?
I would be able to get bused, but I'd have to like meet them halfway kind of. And like even going here, I would have to meet halfway. So I just get my parents to drive me here every morning.
Sure.
I chose Deptford because they do like an open house. When I went there, they talked a lot about how they focus on everybody, which is kind of confusing, but like they do a lot of athletics, they do a lot of academics. There's a huge theater program there. There's a robotics team. You can basically do anything you want when you're like there if you have an interest for it. Me being a person who likes to do a lot of a wide variety of things, I thought that would best suit my personality. I know that isn't for like everybody, but like that's why I chose Deptford.
Okay, so I understand White River has a graduating class roughly of 80 students.
Between 50 to 80.
50 to 80. What about Bedford?
Um,
What's just an average?
like 60, 70.
Okay, and then Sharon?
Like 20, 25.
Okay, and was that a factor in deciding which school to go to?
Not really, no.
Okay, just curious.
So let me pose a question since you posed a question to us. So you said your calculus class has three people in it, correct?
Yes.
So as a taxpayer and your parents who are carrying the burden of that, how as we as the legislative and your school boards make it more cost effective because teaching 3 children or students, please forgive me on that, teaching 3 students, it comes at a price. So how do we as the state answer that question when you have taxpayers going, we need relief?
And do you have a full suite of APs at the academy? No APs?
Sharon?
No. We have, some of our classes do honors, and it's not its own separate class, it's just like, if you wanna do extra work outside of class, and get credit for that.
We have honors classes, and you can take CCV, and you can go to Dartmouth as well.
Yeah.
Do you come here for AP classes ever? Or?
No, I think CCV.
Are they available to you online?
Yeah. So I just took college algebra online because I was eligible for that. I had a friend who just took calculus in Dartmouth, right? Because that's what he was eligible for.
How do they go to Dartmouth?
Yeah, they just arrived there.
How long does it take?
15 minutes.
Okay.
I guess I would, like, from a district perspective, be curious why we would pay for a student to go to Dartmouth before fill an AP class in the state. Yeah.
So just to clarify for the senators, we provided you students from across the SU that are members of the SU
And you don't.
who made some choices
Right.
for secondary school. Stafford Academy is not part of WRPSU.
And but
Sharon Academy is not part of WRBSU. Those are independent schools.
Good.
Separate from WRBSU that receive public dollars that our students choose to go to. We have been exploring with Sharon Academy recently. How can we partner to provide some more opportunities across campuses at the Sharon Academy and the White River Valley High School? But the White River Valley High School was the only WRBSU 912 school, of which some of our choice districts choose to come to, or even districts that are not part of our SU, like Pittsfield.
And just so people who are watching who don't know who you are.
Oh, sorry, Jamie Canarney, Superintendent of Schools at WRBSU. And just to provide a little context for the public and for Senate Education, WRBSU serves 10 towns, of which one is a non-operating district, Granville-Hancock, so they have choice, K-12. One is Rochester-Stockbridge, which closed their high school in Rochester during Act 46 and merged 2 towns into an operating pre-K-6, of which we now receive in the White River Unified District about 85% of their students over the last 3 years, a majority of which you can see in our middle school, which is in Bethel. We have the White River Unified District, which is made up of Royalton and Bethel, which was merged during Act 46. You'll see the blue and gold jerseys. This was South Royalton, and then Wickham had a high school in Bethel. They kept their elementary schools in each of their buildings. We have a unified middle school between the two towns in Bethel and the high school 912s here. Up the 110 corridor, which you have two students from, one in Chelsea and one in Tunbridge, they merged to form First Branch Unified District. At that time, Chelsea closed their high school, and that is why they have choice grades 9 through 12. Sharon is a standalone school district that operates K through 6, of which a majority of your students via choice either choose the Sharon Academy, Hartford, or our high school. And then we have the Stratford School District, which operates the Newton School, which is K through 8, and have choice 9 through 12. And a majority of their students go to Thetford Academy or the Sharon Academy. But we have students from this SU attending approximately 40 different secondary schools throughout the state or in New Hampshire, given the fact that there's choice throughout a majority of the SU.
So New Hampshire's gonna go away,
But currently, right now, they're attending.
right? So would the students from the academies be okay taking classes here instead of dual enrollment?
As far
Like
as
an AP class?
an AP class?
Yeah.
Personally, it works a lot better for me to do dual enrollment because it's all online, and I'm a 3-sport athlete, so I have to be at Thetford after school. So it doesn't really work for me to come here and then go there. But that's just me.
I don't take any AP classes or anything, or dual enrollment or anything. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Are you in some honors classes?
I think transportation wise, trying to come to these AP classes, they're blocked kind of randomly. They try to stay within the morning, but they're blocked very randomly. And if you were to try to travel from, say, Thetford, which is a 40-minute drive, it doesn't really work with your sending or your home school all that well. You could arrive in the morning here on time, but getting back to the afternoon and actually still feeling part of that community would be very difficult, I would assume. Sharon, it might be easier depending on where you're coming from where your home is. A lot of it just has to do with geography and just time it takes getting to and from. I would there's the idea of going to Dartmouth to take classes. I wanted to do that. And then I realized going half an hour out of my way each day would not work with my schedule whatsoever. So I was unable to then do that. Luckily, our school offers AP classes, but the transportation aspect plays a huge role.
And then more on geography, I just think the one thing that we hadn't mentioned yet that I thought was kind of important. I mean, Mr. Carney, I don't want to speak for you, but I think we have a hard time as it is calling snow days occasionally. And I just wanted to mention that if we have kids coming from all over, hour and a half away, it's going to complicate calling things like snow days a lot more as it is.
Especially with the fact that a lot of people around here live on dirt roads. Mud season is very real here.
We go to school at White River Valley, but they're letting you know.
So something to add to Aubrey's about like calling snow days. Some people, depending on what time their buses go by their house, like if they merge into a bigger school, will already be on their bus, on their way to school, depending on how far they live. So calling snow days would have to be like the night before instead of in the morning. A couple hours before school.
Noted.
And then one thing I just wanted to kind of say is that I couldn't really find a better way to say it, but for South Royalton at least, I think that the high school really makes up like 50% of, I don't know what you want to call it, the town's like energy or liveliness, whatever, the community, I guess. And I would say that the other 50% comes from the law school. We partner a lot with the law school. We had, I think last year, I don't know if it's continued, but there was a couple law schoolers that ran like an after school like cooking program, I believe. And I currently am engaged in a little sort of internship thing that's also built into my capstone project at the South Royalton Legal Clinic. So there's a lot of opportunities for connection there. And I think that if you take away 50% of whatever you're calling the town's energy, it's living here would lose a lot of appeal. And I think that we know that finding affordable real estate is kind of rough right now, especially in this state. And if you're looking for a home to like specifically raise a family, you're not going to pick a town that doesn't have an easily accessible school. And the same could go for law scholars. That's kind of a lesser point, but if they partner with the school occasionally, what would be the appeal to living or going to college law school in a town that doesn't really have much in it? There's not many like events because we power a lot. I don't know, like it's not like actual electric power. That's the only way I can say it. And I think that the same goes for the amount of businesses that not only partner with the school, but also get a lot of revenue from us in general. They will buy ads in the yearbook. We also, high schoolers staff a lot of local businesses as well. So that would take away if we didn't have the high school here. Also community service as well, just another thing. I'm in NHS, so I've done things at a few locations. Service every year, each student. And I do know that a lot of people do it occasionally outside of the school. So that's also taking away some.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but we have lost our visual, so we just need to make a few adjustments.
I'll be back about 15.
That sounds good. We can continue on audio.
So. So the third set.
Would ask her to come up here and would like mentor a student. And I was a part of that. I had a lot of Instagram and the students contractor. I don't think that is my favorite students. You be connected on a personal level. And not only did you make connections with me, make connections with my friends, but the staff at one point there, and other students to join.
To go over what you said about, high school being kind of like a little community. As James said, I'm from Chelsea and that's where the exit closed in 2017. And I really still living there, like half of our businesses closed. There's no events where like everybody goes down and like meets each other. I remember when I was younger, there's like countless times I go to a basketball game there. Like the entire town would be there. Everybody like knows something on the court or go to just see other people. And there's like nothing like that anymore. It makes just a lot less desirable.
What's happening on that campus?
That's where the middle school is now. Yeah.
I was always there for. And so getting to grow up with that, I learned a lot about our community, learned a lot, like got to know a lot of things. And my dad had a small business and I actually wear his sweatshirt every day because that helped with me in the bud. And what's the business? Black Dog Solar, he helps with solar. And I don't think that would happen as easily. So like get to know people again.
Tommy, do you want, just before we get to, do you want to just explain where your siblings all, that whole relationship where they went to school?
Yeah, so I'm children, child 4 or 5. I have 3 older siblings that all graduated from Chelsea. I kind of was thinking that I would too. So I was kind of heartbroken when I found out that I couldn't graduate from the same school as all my siblings.
How many students were graduated with their Bible Catholic classes?
Chelsea. Probably an average of 20 people.
So I went to school in Florida. I drove to like almost 5 years ago. I went to really mixed, both elementary and middle school. I went to Coastal College, like 2 schools. My experience in being at big school, I was a very, very shy kid. I did not ask questions, but I had a very big class. And my grades went down, and I was always worried about, oh, well, I don't know anyone here. I'm not gonna ask questions. I'm gonna look stupid. Excuse my language. And I think these kids in Vermont that have grown up in like small communities with like, say, a class of like 14, moving them to a big school of 800 kids, rip them away from like everyone they know. Like, I don't know anyone around here, but I hear stories of everyone saying, oh, don't you have what you did in elementary? All these memories and stuff. Everyone knows each other, everyone's connected, everyone's connected with their kiddo. Repertoire way and there's people still in with the not. All it's stuff from different areas with different.
It's really nerve wracking. Either you're gonna really flow and be successful, or you're gonna sink and your grades are gonna plummet. And my sister, she goes to, after the time that the story happened, she went to school in Albany, New York, and she went to Sharon Academy. She was not used to like a very big class size, so when she had college, she did not want to ask questions. It was really nerve wracking. She was just all worried about like who these people are and that she didn't know anybody because everyone else is from New York. And that really did not help her grades. And I understand that that's what life is about. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to step out of your comfort zone. But I feel like high school is a very important, it's a very important time in your life. That everyone has to be tedious with how they are because it's going to affect the rest of your life. So.
So when I say this, and I really mean it, our high schools here act as the heart of our town. So now that is socially, that is education-wise, everyone around here is connected, especially in this area. I'm assuming it applies a little bit to Sharon and Thetford as well. It used to apply very much so to Chelsea, but everyone is very connected with the school. If you ask people here who've lived here, like in the area all their life, they can relate back to the high school and they will know something about it. Like they will know they put up one of these banners, or like they, then sponsor one of the signs down on the baseball field or by the booster shed. But everyone is very connected. You can come across a lot of people that spend like that big game on that same team that you're playing for now. All of the people are connected. You can come across businesses who are like, hey, I need people to work for me. I go ask a high schooler, they'll give me someone. Everyone around here is very connected. Events wise, our high school acts as kind of like, I'd say, entertainment for the town. Sports games year round, theater all the time, class like events. Like we were gonna do a hot dog eating contest. It got knocked down, but we were gonna do a hot dog eating contest to bring the community together. But like all the classes and people around here are very connected with their community, and they want to connect their community, like, and keep them connected. If you have graduated, you're always connected. If you're growing up here, you're still connected with it.
Question from Senator Weeks.
Yeah, so I like the theme of where you guys have been for the past 10 minutes talking about schools, in particular Chelsea's, the closure of Chelsea. So with 13, 14 students, now knowing what you know about the communities and what your parents may be up against with property taxes and what have you, how would you have done this different with Chelsea? Would you have kept the school going at 14, graduating class, or how would you have approached it? I'll put it back on you because you're the last guy to talk, and then the gentleman from Chelsea who had the siblings graduate from there but wasn't able to join them. But how would you approach it?
I've known a lot of Chelsea people, and they can relate a lot with people from South Burlington. I think having them say go here would allow them to somewhat keep the community there. Going to Thetford is of course their own choice, but I think trying to stay within a local district allows people to still have a sense of community in their area, but also a wider community that everyone still knows each other.
Okay, and how would you approach it?
Well, of course, I'd love to keep Chelsea,
Okay.
but, I think that if it couldn't happen, this is the best way for it not to happen. I think that the choice of kids being able to go to what school suits them the best is the only way, in my opinion, that it works the best, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
I was gonna ask just one quick question. Why did you choose, and you chose, Sharon, you haven't talked as much, so just talk to us about why you chose Sharon and what that experience has been like.
I know, well, one of the reasons why was because my best friend goes there with me right now. But when I shadowed, well, I also shadowed for one, but it doesn't go there anymore. And when I went, I don't remember what class I shadowed at, but, I don't know, it was like really, it was really, like welcoming, I guess, cause especially to me, cause I was an 8th grader shadowing, and like everyone was so nice, just to everyone else, and I don't know, it was just like, when I shadowed, I just had a really good time there, and also I really liked, how the classes were, it was kind of a weird day because like a projector blew up or something in one of the classrooms. But I was in this science class and they were doing this project about, I don't even know, but someone made a little movie about it and everyone was just having such a fun time in that class. And even like the French class or whatever, it was, I don't know how to explain it.
What were the average class sizes when you were, visiting?
When I visited, I think it was a little, usually it's, my classes are around 15, but I think it was a little bit more when I went there. Yeah.
One really important thing that I wanted to mention was, so we had a very long fight. I think it probably ended near the beginning of last year. We had a bond vote that was on the table. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it. There was a lot packed into it that we would have gotten, but like notably, we would have had a new entrance that was more secure and looked better for the backside because that's where the high school comes in. We don't generally get to use the front because we all park back there. A lot of theater renovations. We would have had a new rehearsal space, which was and still is really necessary because of the amount of kids that we have in our music program, and it's all crammed in downstairs along with elementary music classes. But that aside, the longer when I spoke to people who said that they didn't necessarily vote yes for the bond vote, a lot of their reasoning stemmed from the fact that the possibility was on the table that our school was going to get closed because of what we're talking about now. And I think that the longer the possibility gets dragged out that will happen, the more you're going to take away opportunities to better the schools that we have. And you brought up a really great point earlier about like we should rework the way that we have a AP class with 3 kids in it and figure out other things with the college programs and all of that. I 100% agree. What I would say is rather than thinking about closing schools like this, let's reallocate, sit down and work through ways to reallocate funds rather than necessarily close schools to make it work better in the students' favor so that we don't have classes that only have 3 kids in it. And I personally, I don't want to speak for anyone, I haven't been presented with any like hardcore evidence that what is being presented in this act is going to save money. That I don't know if anyone else wants to comment on anything.
You guys have a couple minutes left, so I want to make sure everybody gets a chance for a last comment if you want.
So what I want to say kind of is going to piggyback on that. I also went to Chelsea. I went to Tunbridge, but then after the merger, I went to Chelsea for 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade, sorry. And we really did not see like any improvements. We still were getting taxed for like both schools, and that like never went down for a while. So like what Aubrey was saying, where's like the evidence that this is going to save money? Because you're still going to have to pay for more transportation for students farther away. You're going to have to figure out ways to like support like kids who want to do sports. There's still gonna be like, there's so much stuff that you're gonna have to pay for, more students as well. And it's just like, there's the evidence really, sorry, but.
So yeah, I've done my research about this, and it seems like if we have to build new schools, our taxes are gonna go up, which means we have to pay more than what I think we already do to build these new schools instead of keeping what we've already got and bettering what we've got. Because if we just better our schools, then we have more opportunities. We'll have more sports. We'll have better education. If we got the PAC for our music department, we'd have more kids in bands than we have because our space is so small. So many kids have actually dropped band because of how
The PAC.
the PAC is like where we would practice and rehearse for like music goals and like things like that.
It was the proposed, center that was shut down due to community bond vote.
Okay.
Yes, so it's just was one of those things, a part of the bond vote that Aubrey mentioned.
Sorry, PAC being Performing Arts Center.
Okay.
It wasn't the
okay.
greatest name. It was really just a new like band room, but
Yeah.
that's what
So that would better our school. We would have more opportunities. More kids would be able to be a part of band
Yeah.
and chorus and do more things with that.
Just because I think you all are doing such a good job advocating for your experience, you also might want to think about the possibility of this school getting bigger, right? You know, that more kids might be coming to this school. Do you have the capacity? Is that something you look forward to? You know, so I just want to make sure for those of you here, you're not thinking our school's gonna close, but what happens if our school reaches a different capacity? What would you need?
I think the innovations like the PAC would drastically help. So we had I don't know the exact numbers. This is when I was in it. I think we had a band class of about 50 students in an elementary sized band room. Now this Performing Arts Center was going to make it so we could have so many more students in that area, and it would drastically like attract students to the area. With that being shut down, so many more students have left that program, and there's not as much attraction to this school. So instead of having a band class that was like 40 to 50 students, it went down to maybe 20 to 30. A chorus class of being 20 to 30 down to maybe 10 to 15.
Can someone, I might have missed why it shut down or why
it was a community vote, just based in the towns.
Okay.
And, the people in the town voted no.
And on that, like, there was going to be, I'm pretty sure this is correct, but there was going to be a lot of outside funding. And what I could be wrong, but what I heard after the fact was that it was really going to be like a one time or maybe a few time, like people were kind of exaggerating how much it was going to increase their taxes on that. But it really only would have been like, say, a couple like payments of like $50. That's like if they kind of like envisioned what it would have been coming out of their pockets if it had passed. And so thinking about Chelsea, asking like, if this school closed down, I would ask the community, like, would you rather keep the school that we all love and love going to, and it makes our community? Would you rather pay a little bit more out of your pocket to keep that and make it better, or have nothing at all? Would be
paying for that would, I would assume, attract more students to the schools than build them up. Making that, I don't know the exact number for how much a student is worth, but making it so they can all go to one school and be a little less expensive.
To go off of that, I mean, for me at least, I don't know if that's just because I'm a kid, but I think, in my opinion, that the child's experience is a little more important than the tax, like the amount of money it costs. And for a kid to be a lot more happy in a smaller school where they know their teachers and they aren't just like a name on a roll call sheet, and they actually are like known by everybody in the community, I feel that's a lot more valuable than a little bit cheaper for them to go to a huge school where maybe they're a shy kid and they like have a really hard time meeting new people.
Do you consider this a huge school?
No, I wouldn't consider this a huge school. No, I think this school is a great size, but like I'm saying, a very large school, like consolidated towns, would be really hard.
What you said is fairly true, but everything does have a price tag eventually. And what happens is is this price tag is getting so high that the average person can't afford their life here in Vermont. This is why it's become such a big issue. And healthcare is one avenue that they blame, along with a couple others. But it's our task and Vermont's task to find a way that we are going to make Vermont one very, education of our students priority one, but we have to do it in an affordable way, or people are going to exit the state because they can't afford it. And then that small school your parents wanted you to go to, they no longer can afford. Now you're moving somewhere else. That's the concern of most Vermonters. So it's getting that price that, taxes shouldn't be a burden. They should be an inconvenience. And taxes are becoming a very big burden to a lot of your parents and most of us.
Yeah, pay attention to time here, but why don't we do one more? I saw your hand up.
So I was just wondering, because say you make the school 800, that's gonna cost a lot of money. Where's that money coming from? And then you're gonna have all these other taxes on top of it for transportation, all that stuff. It's just, in the long run, I guess it could be cheaper, but for a while it's gonna be really expensive and you're still gonna be doing the thing you wanna prevent. It's gonna be really unlivable for people for how many years it takes for those taxes to go down. Because the taxes from Chelsea Towers Merton, I'm not really in on that stuff, how it happens, since I'm only a student.
Education finance is very complicated.
Yeah, it's just, it didn't go down for a while, and I don't know if it still hasn't gone down. Liberty also made a point on that with, what was it, Bethel?
When Bethel and South Burlington merged.
Move on. Yeah. So we have to end, because one thing we have to do today is stay on schedule to get through, but, thank you all very much. You are articulate, spokespeople for your schools and your community, and so we've got a lot out of this. Thank you very much.
I love that you argue with us.
Yeah.
That's great. Good education.
Yeah. Thank you for. Yeah,
I figured it was
reading,
not arguing.
So we're off to we're going to go offline and go on a tour of the school.
Yeah, so